Do you just want me to sit at the top or stand at the top?
Stand at the top, great.
Yesterday was pretty cool because it was like the first like organic no input crop that we cut, and it just had that good feeling that this was right, like what we were doing.
Oh, bless you. This guy today,
Yeah.
what's his story?
So, George Green has been pioneering, basically able to grow two viable like cash crops in one field together,
Okay.
whilst also restoring the land. He knows what he's doing and he knows why he's doing it. But truthfully, I only met him in the Growers' Day. Fucking hell.
Alright, great, no worries. See you in a bit, Colin. Thanks. Cheers, bye. Sorry about that.
It's alright. How did yesterday go?
Yeah, all
What time did you
good.
finish?
9:30, something like that, so it's quite pleasant. So I guess it's quite a long journey. It started probably when I came back from uni and joined the family farm and realised that it was quite conventional and it wasn't making any money. The inputs, we just seemed to have a prescription of putting X amount on this month and we just do it without questioning it. I just sort of had this like growing consciousness of we were using more and more of it, and I was completely dependent on this like one product just to make the whole system work, and didn't feel right with me. So yeah, jumping to like a different route down the wild farm route was sort of where I felt was the comfortable direction. But you have to sort of put the building blocks in place to be able to do it. So like taking away the insecticides, using less herbicide, taking away the fungicides before you jump to using none is probably the way to do it. If you start just focusing on the soil and making changes that will improve it, it just starts to look after you basically. By always constantly wanting to like get involved and intervene with things, you don't really allow things to develop, and you can't see how things will work almost. And I guess that's what I did, and it was probably one of the best learning curves I had. For the wild farm stuff, we've got beans and wheat, which has worked really well. Yeah, this is the modern blend with our bean bicrop. It's pretty much a no-brainer. If you can make it work, you can sort of make your farm bigger by just growing two crops in one field. Got some really cool like wild vetch growing. I got Martha, my daughter, out here yesterday eating these. She quite liked them. It was 2 years ago she was born, and that was a real sort of like awakening, and I looked at everything really quite honestly and trying to do things for the long term and making the farm sort of sustainable for her to take over. For me, you've got to be like improving the soil and putting more in than you're taking out almost.
You are showing that you can still be profitable with it. What do you think is like the biggest barrier for those people that don't want to?
I think it's probably a little bit of everything. They don't want to be seen to make a mistake by their neighbours, I guess. Another thing is people wanting cheap food. We've sort of grown up in a generation that we're a bit oblivious to the true cost of food, and ultimately something is always going to pay, and the cost of the industrial model is to the environment or the soil. So the next generation are basically going to inherit that, and they're going to have that problem. So we can't really afford to carry on with that model anymore. So that's partly why I went down that route really. I didn't really see any option. I imagine some people just think we're a bit ridiculous, but I don't mind that anymore. I quite like it, to be honest. A lot of people are like asking more about what we're doing than what we were doing before. They're interested, so like you can tell that it's not like a crazy radical idea at all now. So the best way is to be honest about it all and be open, share what you've learned, and find people that are willing to sort of do the same, and you can build up like a community to share the knowledge.